Tuesday and Wednesday. And of course we're on into the season ending. So the beach volleyball tour. The end of our summer is a little sad, but it's exciting as well because we'll get to our crown the best of the best. It's been a massive few months across the features of Oz. And international competition across the history days, the teams that you'll see from all over the world, of course, they're on the best of the green and gold. Hoover's up serve this time. The Scottish combination. Number 2 there was Coutts with the serve. We're really giving the cross serve there. A little bit of that race up the ocean. Still on the hanger for a minute.
Steph Weiler just swinging deep and a little bit long there on that one. So Scotland out to a firing start, 5-1. So they're here, they mean business.
Yeah, any nerves from the Scots? They've quickly put those to rest, although that serve goes a little long. Sands, you've been doing a bit of research on our Scottish team. What can you tell us about them?
I'm just digging in for a little bit of research. Not a lot on them here, Ross. So, but obviously they played a lot, indoor players mainly. So they've come from the indoor background. One of, especially Melissa Coutts, one of the first Scottish professional indoor players to get a contract. So we're fine, and we're having a look at the FIVB database. I'm saying she's 46 years old, so she's looking in fine form, and it's great to see that this great sport you can keep playing for years and years. And really just using your experience to be able to take it to the other teams. So we see there again just another swing a little bit wide there from Steph Weiler. It'll take the Aussie girls just a few points to settle down. Sarah Battaglene very, very good at that, and she'll just take a few points just to ease Steph into this match on this World Tour event. There we go, nice little drop shot there from Steph Weiler. She pushed them back before and then created that space to be able to drop that ball into. So yeah, really, really smart play there by Steph.
And of course, Sarah Battaglene was part of the Australian team squad last year, which helped get a second team qualified for the Olympics. And Steph Weiler, of course, Sanj has been on the tour for a little while. One of the tallest players on the tour, I would have thought. One of the tallest Australian players on the tour.
Yeah, I think if her and Nikki Laird stand back to back, there wouldn't be much between the two of them. So I think they will be the tallest two. And yeah, Steph's a young player. She had a few years battling with back injuries, and I guess that's what you get when you grow a lot and at a very young age. So it's really, really good to see Steph back out in the sand, and you know, she's been pretty lucky to pair up with the very experienced Sarah Battaglene, and she's been on tour for since she was about 13, 14 years old. Sarah has, so she has almost more international and national experience than most of our Aussie players. There we go, girl. We see the girls putting their game together now, and that's what happens. You know, it takes a few points for them to feel settled. And this is the second event that Sarah and Steph have played together, so they'll be really looking to push ahead and really trying to find their groove in the game. Yeah, great ball control there from Scotland. Just moving that pass where they wanted, running that play through the middle, and just keeping the Aussies away from the ball. And there we go. We see our second end change there with Scotland leading 9-5. With the Aussies got a bit of work to do here in this first set. There we go, Sarah swinging hard cross court there, getting inside the blocker's hand and also inside the defender. So Sarah, who's probably the shortest girl out in the court there, but you can see that she jumps high and hard every single time, was able to access that angle and bring up point number 7 for the Aussie girls. Oh, sneaky little back dig there and didn't quite make it, but against Sarah, that's one of her specials. She saw it, she was ready to chase it down, and she's keen to get back there and take the serve again. Hustling hard there from Scotland, but not to be able to grab that point, and that will be 9-all. Scotland take a bit of a timeout now that Australia are gaining a bit of momentum.
Yeah, they've really fought their way back into this set, Sanj. They were down 5-1 at one stage, the Australian girls. And as you said, they've settled. They took a little while to get used to the conditions, and now that they've settled, they've managed to reel this match in and are really dominating at the moment. So they just need to hold their nerve now, and the Scots obviously, it's a big event for them, big occasion, so they need to make sure that they don't get too flustered and too overawed by the scoreline.
Yeah, right, Ross. And the nature of this event, especially in this first round, it is elimination. So they're coming in and they really have to make sure they're winning that first game. And it's a long way from Scotland for one game at 8:50 in the morning. So they'll be here to put some more points on the board and look to try and get a win to go through to round 2. But I know how competitive these Aussie girls are, and they are not going to hand over anything, and they will be fighting tooth and nail. And Sarah wants to play, I know, as many games as she can here this weekend on Manly Beach.
So the two can be on the angle there from Scotland. And see some smiling faces up there in the grandstands already. You can hear us up there on the call, so make sure you come on down. BYR volleys. You'll be right. The sun's on its way. 5 minutes. Promise.
Just too big at the net there, and Steph just taking a little bit of pace off that one and really making sure she found that line. Sarah setting really well, and that gives Steph a chance to serve here at 10-all. And that'll be our first technical timeout, where Scotland will lead 11-10. And I'm not sure if you guys can see it there on the live stream, but we're just starting to see a bit of that rain coming down. So it's just a bit of a sprinkle at the moment, but I think it's just going to keep the players nice and cool. And you see the guys doing a great job there out on the court, making sure that stays nice and level, so the players can get up to that net, take the advantage, and and Sarah straight onto the baseline, finds that first point out of the tech timeout, 11-all. Now, Ross, how will you guys find it though? I know most teams they scout their opposition, they have a good idea, but the Aussie girls wouldn't have seen these Scottish girls before. So how do they go going into a match where they really don't know their opposition?
Well, I know that they're quite meticulous in Adelaide at the High Performance Centre with going over videos and checking out what other teams are doing, but as you and I have found this morning, Sanj, it's been a bit hard to find some information on a couple of these teams. The Scottish team, England have a team here as well. We don't see a lot of teams from England playing on the World Tour, so We've got a team from Turkey here as well, so I think this is one of the great things about this event, as you said, Sanj, just some of the teams that have come down under to play. It is sudden elimination though, so if they lose one match, it's a long way to come for the one match, and they can't say they come down here to enjoy the sunshine because at the moment it doesn't exist. But what a great experience for all these teams, and it is exciting because next year beach volleyball will be making its debut at the Commonwealth Games, and a lot of these teams that are here, the Canadians, the Scots, the Kiwis, of course, and the Australians, they've all got one eye on Gold Coast next year and hoping to get a bit of experience up here because there's one team from each country allowed, which makes competition pretty hot. So any advantage they can get will be a good advantage.
As we see Steph Weiler doing what she does best, absolutely throwing those arms up. There was no room for the girls to hit through that, and that's going to give her a huge amount of confidence going to the second half of this set. Down the line we see the one-hand fist pump there from the Scottish girl. She loved that shot, and it's just point for point now. And there is nothing between it. We've got an end change here, 14-all in the first set, and you see Scotland mixing it up, serving Sarah, serving Steph, serving Sarah. So no chance for the Aussie girls to get in any rhythm here. So let's see what they do here on this serve.
Just a bit too good there. The Scottish combination is putting that ball well in control right now. Here we go.
See there, Sarah wheeling Steph, like, come on, we've got this. So they've got another chance to side out here. As Scotland get a little bit of a 2-point lead now, 16-14 here in the first set. Yeah, there it is, and Steph being dominant at the net, and that's what she needs to do. That's going to give Sarah a lot of confidence there to hold her position in the backcourt, run around and make the digs as Scotland start to chip around. So really good work there by the Aussies there to claw a point back. Oh, it's just gone wide. So the ball must hit inside the court or at least grab some part of the line to score, but that's gone wide. So that will bring up for Sarah to serve, and back to 16-all.
I have to admire the tenacity and the courage of the Scots. They've certainly not been overawed. It would have been quite easy, Sanj, for them to drop their bundle after they raced out to that early lead and then only to see it reeled in by the Australians. But they are in for the fight, aren't they? They are really determined to make their presence felt here.
Yeah, they definitely had him make the trip worthwhile, and as you said, really started strong, and the Aussie girls came back hard, but they're playing a pretty good brand of volleyball at the moment, keeping the ball under a lot of control, but also keeping the speed of the ball. I think that's worrying the Australians a little bit, just the speed in which they're playing that ball back. But we see here 17-all, the Aussies got a point back there. And we see another end change come up with Scotland leading 18-17. So right into the business part of the set now. They both had a bit of a crack at it, but who can close out this set? First to 21 points, must win by 2 points. Oh, just too big at the net, and it's always a little bit of a struggle there where you set really, really tight with it, with a big blocker on the other side. So pretty tough there for Sarah to do too much, but she'll go back and try and take the side out here and claw that point back. A bit of a change up there from Steph. Normally the hard swinger and Sarah more of the shooter, but Steph just chipped that into the open court. Great vision there. Well, the benefit here, Ross, of having that little bit of rain coming down and that wet sand is we can see really, really well from here up in the commentary booth. That ball just missing by a couple of centimetres. So that brings up set point here for Scotland. Yeah, good aggression there from Steph. It wasn't backing down on set point down, but they'll go back and she'll have the serve here. And I'm going to need to grab this point or else Scotland will close out this set. Oh, what a time to bring up an ace. Steph Weiler, well done. So that brings up 20 all, back to level again. Second half of this set has been a bit of a dogfight. Woo, the Aussie girls just sitting back off the net there, and they were very happy to see that one just sail a little bit long. And now set point Australia. Big chase by Scotland, but the block was even bigger, and that brings up the first set. Steph Weiler and Sarah Battaglene getting the job done after having a couple of set points down. So great to see the fight in the Aussie ladies this morning. There we go, first swinging Steph Weiler grabbing the point there. She looks a little more relaxed here in this second set, and I guess that'll do it after you've got the first set in the bag. So let's see how they go. Oh, and Scotland straight back at him, having a nice free swing there too, and finding the open court and the cross court. So point for point, starting the second set.
Interestingly, Sanj, just looking at the bios of the Scots, one of their players is actually 46 years old, according to the FIVB bio, born in 1970. So has, you would think, have been around the beach volley, the volleyball scene. I think they've played a bit of indoor volleyball, but been around there for a while.
Yeah, spot on. I don't know if Steph and Sarah's ages combined would get to that, but being the younger players, but you know, often that can be a big advantage on the beach too, Roscoe, just having that level head, being able to compose yourself, and that experience and number of years playing at an elite level, even whether it's indoor or beach volleyball, can be a real advantage in the mental game. So let's see if they can use that to their advantage here, and maybe try and close this match up, knowing they do have to win this second set to have a chance to take it to a third, whereas the Aussies will close out the match if they win this set.
Second one off the tee. It's from Scotland taking up Battaglene and Miller from Australia. Scotland with the serve.
And again, the Scots just getting out that little break again, 4-2. They've been able to do this all match, but it's just maybe it's just the inexperience of playing at this level, Sanj, but they're just unable to close it out. And you can really see the Australians scrambling here to keep in this point. But maybe that's just the experience, not able to close out sets after getting in dominant positions.
Oh, they closed out that pointer right there, Ross, after a bit of a fight back and forth, and lots and lots of digs in that. I mean, you normally see them trying to get the dig set spike, but there was more digs in that rally than most. But yeah, you're right there, Roscoe, and that'll often happen. You know, experienced players, but unless they're experienced at a really high level, the closing out of the sets can be the most challenging thing. I'm just noticing as I just go back to surf here, we've got an Olympic rings tattoo, so I reckon we have an Olympian here with the indoor volleyball team, so we're going to do a bit more research here. But you know, often you see, you know, being to the Olympics, most Olympians will have an Olympic rings tattoo, so that's a bit of reconnaissance and intel work we're doing up here in the commentary booth. He's just making that dig there up towards referee Darren Grimsey, but he's having no part of it. He's just signalling point Australia. Sarah Battaglene, go back to serve. Again, great serving pressure there from Sarah. Just that nice float serve, and you may not be able to see it from the webcam, but it is a little bit swirly down here as that wind picks up, and we change from a little bit of showers and rain back to still conditions. So yeah, just a little bit, yeah, you can see just a little bit challenging there as that ball just swirls around. So if anyone is dialing in from Scotland and watching this live stream match, we'd love you guys to comment, and if you've got some fun facts about the girls, or you want us to shout out to any of the supporters back there, make sure you shoot us a message on the Facebook page or on the live stream on the YouTube channel, and we'll make sure we'll get that out there. And just wide, and a referee signalling end change, and that will bring us up at 7 all tied up in this second set.
And Sanj, nothing gets past your eagle eye. You've spotted a tattoo out there.
Yeah, the Olympic rings, Ross, and there's only one type of person that has the Olympic ring tattoos on them, and that's an Olympian. So we are going to do a bit more evidence, but we're tipping London 2012 indoor volleyball. Great swing there from the Aussie girls. That's what we want to see, making the great transition play there and bringing up point number 8. That's what it is. Great conversation out there. Sarah really willing Steph on there to make that point, and as the more experienced player of the two, that'll be a huge part of her role here in this match. Oh, she was all over that one, and she saw it hit the line. Great shot there by the Scots, really turning that ball inside out and finding the line. It's a great shot, holds the defender and really makes her run late at that line, and brings up point number 8 for Scotland. Oh, a little net touch there from Steph Weiler, which gives Scotland the point. But you see that same inside-out shot, but Sarah Battaglene had that one covered there. She saw it before, and she was able to read that ball early and make that dig down the line. Unfortunately, they weren't able to convert that point. 9-10 Scotland. And that ball just dying. It looked like it was floating way long, and Sarah Battaglene thought the same, but it just died in that breeze. And as you see, just swirling around a little bit out there, which makes it a little bit challenging for the players. Oh, and again, this one literally catching the back millimetre of the line. I reckon Sarah, if she was playing in the Australian Open for tennis, she would have called for the Hawkeye then. She had a good long look at that, but it was definitely long, right on the baseline of that sideline. So we'll see them take a little bit of a break here and just recompose.
Thanks for being here nice and early with us. It is Stefanie in Australia right now, second set of action coming out.
So Martin Johnson tells us that on Facebook that apparently there is no indoor beach volleyball facilities in Scotland. This is exactly what they train in all winter, apparently. Thank you, Martin, for that insight. Go to our Facebook page if you want to add more insights. If you know a little bit of background about the girls, let us know, because we'd like everyone else to know Scotland are not regulars on the tour, so it is great to see them here and putting up a fight too, which is fantastic to see. So that's interesting. No indoor facilities in Scotland.
Well, aren't they? Good on them for bringing their own weather as well. That's all. But well, they'll be feeling right at home here on Manly Beach today. Oh, great vision there, and great ball control too there from the girls. And just chipping that ball around into the open court, and that'll bring up a 12-11 lead in this second set.
And on our Facebook page, we've certainly got some Scottish supporters who are watching. It must be middle of the night there. It must be about midnight, or maybe just before midnight in Scotland. So staying up late to watch the girls in action. And I hope you're willing them on here to try and get them over the line in this second set, having lost the first set 22-20 after holding 2 set points at one stage, 2018. So really desperate to get back into this one.
And don't we love our beach volleyball fans, Ross? They are committed, they are dedicated, and getting up at all hours of the night to be able to support their girls. And as a result, Scotland's grabbed another point, so 14-12 here in the second set. There we go, and that same corner's been absolutely peppered in this second set, and Steph Weiler finds the sand there and brings up point number 13.
And I can give you some more. The cheer fans are fantastic. This is Jen Downs, who says that Lynne Beattie. Lynne Beattie used to play for her club Sue Regazi in Glasgow, and Mel Coutts used to play for the City of Edinburgh. And apparently Lynne captained the first ever Great Britain indoor Olympic women's team at London 2012. There you go. And Mel has played for both Scotland and England indoors. So Sanj, you're exactly right. In fact, Lynne was captain of the Great Britain indoor Olympic women's team in London in 2012. So she deserves those Olympic rings.
And speaking of Olympians, I just had one just wander past me. It's Kerry Pothast, and she actually had a training session. She took the girls from Scotland on the sand a couple of days ago just to help them acclimatise to Manly, and their fitness trainer worked with Kerry and Nat on one of their Olympic campaigns. So a bit of a connection there with Australia and Scotland. And yeah, Kez said she had a great session with them on the sand and may have taught them too many things. They're leading 16-13 in this second set. Oh, great work by the Aussies there. Just changing up the angles. So they're running the back set there, opening up that court, taking advantage of that cross-court swing. They mean business. Sarah's willing her team on here. She wants to close it out in 2. Scotland are saying, nah, we're going to 3. Oh, there is Steph again at the net, closing off that cross-court angle and doing her job. That's what she's out there for.
I can tell you it's 20 past 10 in Scotland at the moment, and we've got a lot of people like Finn Donaldson and Kevin Amos, Martin Johnson, Graham Spowett, all watching and cheering Scotland on, along with Jen Downs. Come on, guys, see if you can get your team over the line here. They've worked so hard to get into this set and into this match, and they've got their noses in front. Can they hold it together?
Oh, and again, just scrapping and scrambling and just not letting that ball hit the sand, and then somehow coming up with that winner in the corner. 18-15, Scotland ahead of Australia. On that serve, just doing some damage right at Sarah's shoulders, throat type area, and really not much she could do. Couldn't get out of the way, but had to make a play on the ball. And Sarah's like, I'm having a timeout. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to reassess and see if I can try and maybe rattle the Scottish team and come out and try and be able to claw their way back into the end of this second set.
And we're getting lots of great information coming through now. Emma Waldy tells us that Mel and Lynne train at Portobello Beach. Since Scotland have no indoor beach court, they're up from as early as 4 a.m. to make the most of the time they have. So they're more than accustomed to the snow, the rain and the wind. And Monica Krasinski has asked us to give a shout out to Leon, Martin and Thomas, their training partners and their coach. So I'm sure they're all watching. Leon, Martin and Thomas, and I'm sure you'd be pretty proud of the way the girls are fighting at the moment, because they are well and truly in this set. They're up 19-15, trailing 1-0, but wow, they're really putting in some effort. All those 4 a.m. starts, Sanj, it's done them in the world of good.
That's it. That extra bit of dedication, Roscoe, in the lead up can definitely play a part. And look, when you're 1 set down, being 19-15 up in the second set is a great place to be. What a scramble. They pretty much had to run up into the stands at the back there, Roscoe, to make that dig, and it paid off. They just absolutely have this set under control. 20-15, 5 set points for Scotland to bring this to a third and deciding set. Let's see what the Aussies got to answer. And the block half a metre off the net there from Steph Weiler, but with arms that long and being that tall, it was still effective. So Aussie save 1 set point. But Scotland do need the other 4, and they've closed out this second set 21-16, and we are going to a third.
And I can hear the cheering all the way from Scotland now, because we know that there are a lot of people sitting up tonight. It's now coming up to 25 past 10 at night, and you would be pretty darn happy about the way the girls fought there after the disappointment of throwing away that first set after being in such a dominant position. No mistakes made in the second set, though. They had 5 set points up their sleeve. They only needed 1 of them, and they have levelled this up at 1-1, and this is exciting stuff. Sanj Carter, second match of the FIVB World Tour event here at Sydney's Manly Beach, and we're already into a 3-setter.
Oh, Russ, look, we love beach volleyball, and if we get more sets of beach volleyball, we are stoked. So going to a third set, and as we know, it brings out a lot of character. We really have to see the best from the players at the start of the set. We've seen both teams in set 1 and set 2 have slow starts, so it'll be really interesting to see who comes out firing hard here, because it's a sprint to 15 points. The third set, you still have to win by 2, but it's a sprint to 15. So get behind your Aussies, get behind your Scots. Let's see the support out there on the virtual world and down here in the crowd with the music starting to pump. Fists are coming. We've got the come on from Sarah, come on from Steph, and let's see what this third set is going to bring.
We by 2, but it's Express. Third set to 15. We have Coutts.
Oh, first blood drawn. Scotland bring up the first point, and they're pretty fired up. I've seen a lot of the fist pumps looking into each other going, come on, come on. But Steph's got a nice arm swing of her own, throwing it straight back down, going, nah, I can do that just as well as you can, and we're going to take that serve back. Thank you very much. Ooh, what a floater there by Sarah, just kicking it up nice and high on the shoulder. It was the one that was getting her late in that second set, so she's like, why not? I'll give it back to them and see how they like it.
Just out of bounds. 8 metres by 8 metres on either side of the court out there, folks. 2.
What a set there from Sarah, just right from the back court there, being able to put Steph right onto the net. Great, great position, and Steph capitalised on that, and that'll give the Aussies a 3-2 lead on this first end change in the third set. Just for those playing at home, we switch ends every 5 points to make sure there's no advantage or disadvantage for any team. Oh, she just sneaks that one, little clip off the net, and throws Steph's timing a little bit there, and was able to sneak it down the line, and at 3-all.
Now we go on the distance at 3-all.
Oh, Sarah, the fake, she jumps to spike, leaves the ball, it drifts over and just grabs the leg there of the Scottish player, and unfortunately that will be non-played, and it will be the Aussies' point. So 4-3.
Touch up and down, nice Scotland. And it's, you've got to win by 2, but again, as we've said, third set to 15 only. Express set to decide the winner of this match.
Oh, Sarah. Now, those that know Sarah put the game well. It's a bit of a trademark shot, and again, great dig out of that. That was a really, really tough serve. Great way to be able to make that play. As we see the Scottish players just switch sides here. A little bit of a tactical move.
And out the percentages this time. Nice dig from Battaglene, went straight to her opponent's falling off the net.
Sarah just making every little bit of digging here on the backcourt. She's got her eye dialed in. She's reading the play really well from the Scottish attack, and that's what she wants. That's her bread and butter, making the dig, turning around, getting that transition set, and making points.
Wheeler to the serve, up high 2, Australia. Scotland, the 6-4. These players will see that they will back themselves.
You see these guys just going for the lines, going for absolutely everything, and as you do that, you'll see some of them coming up with the aces, but occasionally you're going to see those little errors sneak in as well. Scotland, 5-6.
Just long on the baseline, this third set. She had to go for that angle there, Sarah, just couldn't get it down into the court. 6-4. Back to the Aussies, 7-6.
Oh, great little chip shot there over the peeling blocker, and Scotland will close the gap again, so we're back to 7-all, and point for point here, and in this express set to 15. Again, really, really tough serving there by Scotland. Finding that deep corner on Sarah again, and they're happy. They're sticking with their strategy, and brings up point number 8. 8-7, Scotland lead.
8-7, Australia.
And Scotland just sneak out to a nice little 2-point gap, and we're only going to 15 here, so once you start hitting that double figures, you start to see the finish line in sight. So Scotland will be really keen here, but Aussie girls just need to hold on here, claw back a few, and that's going to help. That serve's gone long. Sarah pulling a bit of a matrix move there to get out of the way of that. She knew it was going long, but it was also coming straight at her head, so that'll be really helpful. Great point there for the Aussie girls. Oh, and unfortunately couldn't capitalise on the defensive play there, and again Scotland out to that 2-point gap.
Nice touches there from the Aussies. Good convert though. 10-8 scoreboard. Scotland maintains 2-point lead.
The little net dribbler. That's the Roscoe special, isn't it? The little net dribbler to bring up point number 11. Grab a little 3-point break, and Sarah, being the experienced player she is, she's going to call a timeout now. She'll sit down with Steph and just stabilise, go over their strategy for the next couple of points, and ensure they come out and grab the first side out to be able to take that serve. But Scotland looking steady in this last half of this third.
Yeah, and you know, they've learned a lot from that opening set when I think they would have to be quite nervous and really feeling their way. So it took them a set to get into it, but since then, Sanj, they've been really impressive. I mean, for those watching in Scotland, Sarah Battaglene especially is a very experienced Australian beach volleyballer. Steph Weiler has been out for a little while with a back injury and is incredibly tall, but they are a very highly regarded Australian team. So these Scottish girls, they're not taking a backward step. They are out here meaning business, and this game is theirs for the taking.
What a way to come out of a timeout, to come out with the ace, and that's going to bring up an end change here as well. And look, they're in a pretty commanding position now, so let's see if we can get the Aussie fighting spirit to really come out here and close that gap back up.
Swing very quickly. Starts here with a side out for Australia.
Oh, great ball control again from the girls from Scotland. They're just playing their game exceptionally well. They're not overplaying anything. Great ball control, snapping that ball, finding the lines, finding the angles, and coming up with the points again and again.
Maybe even though the Australians have the home court advantage, the Scots, oh yeah, that's definitely a carry. The Scots definitely have the weather advantage. If our correspondents are telling us that they train in these sorts of conditions all the time, this would be like playing at home for them.
I reckon all their Scottish fans must have packed the weather in their suitcase, Ross, and sent it over with them just to make sure they felt right at home here. But yeah, they definitely look pretty comfortable out there on Manly Beach at the moment. Oh, and referee Darren Grimsey's said to Steph, just walk back there, young lady, that it was a net touch and a reach. And in the game of beach volleyball, you are not allowed to touch that net when you make a play on the ball. So that brings up match point for Scotland, 14-19. Another touch of the net by Steph Wheeler, unfortunately, with that tight ball, and that sees Scotland go through and winning in this first round of the Sydney World Tour event over Australia. So all the fans from Scotland, thank you for tuning in. Great work, and you got your girls over the line.
And Scottish